Big Kel
Big Kel
and Kahuna
and Kahuna
podcast.
podcast. Mwah.
For sure.
Good to go. Welcome to episode 23 of Big Kel
and Kahuna.
I'm Kelly.
And I'm Alec.
There you go. So today is May 17th? 23rd.
May 24th.
May 24th.
May 17th.
Episode 23, May 24th. All right,
Yep,
so
we're off by one day.
what are we going to recap from last week?
I was all snuggly in my blanket.
Yeah. Did you shave your legs?
Yep, my legs are fully shaven, as you can see.
You should go on OnlyFans for your feet, man.
Nope.
OnlyFans feet.
No. Me and my friend were actually talking about, there's this new thing, and I'm not going to do it because of the morality involved, but Google has this new thing called VEO3, which is a way to create a virtual avatar to do voiceovers of like Let's Play YouTube videos of Minecraft or Fortnite. So you could just completely automate YouTube content, and that's going to start showing up on YouTube because it's hard to discern that it's not a human. If you're looking carefully, it's not a human, but...
Okay.
So I was talking to my buddy. I said, hey, let's use that. Let's make like a virtual one for OnlyFans so we can make an OnlyFans of someone that doesn't even exist and make money off of that.
I think somebody's doing that.
A lot of people are doing that.
I think they're AI ones right now. You know, I heard
There's also VTubers on Twitch. You know what that is? When someone has a cartoon avatar, but they're synced up so they talk through the avatar.
I heard something disturbing on one of the rolls where they were talking about young girls 20 to, let's say 18 to 28, I think. And what people have to remember what a distribution is, right? Because everybody says...
You mean a bell curve?
Yeah. Well, let me get to the point. Because you got one standard deviation, two standard deviations. Two standard deviations take 95% of the people, right?
I think it's like 80.
And there's a difference between a median and the average. Average,
the
of course,
mode.
is the average, and the median is the 51st.
Can't forget the
one
mode.
out of the 100, yeah. But what I'm trying to say is they were talking about, all right, so if you go with a natural bell curve and no one's a 10. No one's a 10. No one's a 1. I say everybody's 2 to 9 personally.
I don't
but
believe that.
The top 9 and 10s are like 10% of the distribution.
No, that's really like less than 1%.
You're not listening to me. A normal distribution, if it's a forced bell curve distribution,
Right, that last standard deviation is less than 1%.
It's 2.5 for the last 5.
Okay,
It's
sure.
5 and 5.
We'll go
on
with
either
5
end.
and 5.
Just listen. I'm just doing numbers to make a point. So let's say that's 10%. Then they said that most of the young women in OnlyFans are in a certain age group and they have certain attractiveness.
Unless they're the fetish types.
Yeah. So then they say that kind of takes that whole, like 75% of that 10% out if you don't want to date a girl in OnlyFans. So I can't imagine how difficult it is for you guys because the 35 years ago, it was not like this.
I guess why I'm taking a break from it all. Because realistically, girls, when they're 16 and in high school, they have to be popular. And popular now is through being a social media influencer / model. And then all these underage girls, a good majority of them, once they turn 18 nowadays, are starting OnlyFans.
That's the same with college girls?
No, like fresh 18, they're starting their
but
OnlyFans.
I mean, but it's not
like
the
Bad
same.
Baby, for example.
I don't even know who these people are, but all I'm trying to say is number-wise, if you look at statistics, you would think you'd have a better quality of woman the more educated they are. That's not always the case. But
Sure.
but statistically, it would show that. But
We could start going right into like talking like Andrew Tate.
no, it's just...
It would get us more views. But I see what you're saying. You would think there'd be more candidates for healthy relationships and marriages
well,
nowadays.
see, that's the key right there.
But the issue is, if I might add, it's definitely the internet and social media contributing and pushing these women into posting all these salacious
it's
pictures.
the devil, man.
I think it is. I think technology might be the devil.
It's the beginning of the downfall.
The Antichrist.
So remember what it is, though. You know, if you have your relationship with Christ, you're directly with Christ, right?
Yeah.
But you got to stay engaged.
Mm-hmm.
It's two ways.
Yeah.
So what is the devil's deal? To keep you from that.
Mm-hmm.
So they distract you. Anything that distracts you from that is bad. Now.
So is porn the devil? Well, it's run by... I'm not going to say the group, but it's run by a lot of people in one particular group.
Men,
Same group that runs media.
this is the dirty little secret people won't say. Men have an issue with porn. When I was a kid, you'd be lucky if you found a Playboy magazine, or your dad might have one, and it was the same one in the spank bank for like 10 years.
So imagine
Hold on a
if
second.
when you're 21 years old, you had a phone where you could get infinite amount of porn. Would that not fuck you up?
No, it would, and that's the point I'm trying to
This
say.
accessibility
it's
of it.
The accessibility, and so that's the diversion. You want to start gambling, you want to start drinking, you want to start chasing hoes, you know, you want to get fat, lazy, not sleep. It's all diversions. So you just got to decide. Now, what you said is a healthy relationship, and I don't think people can define that right.
Oh, cool.
Sorry
First
about
time
that.
on the podcast, folks.
I
We got a
know.
phone call. It's the President of the United States. Give him my regards. We were just speaking to him.
Oh, that's fucked up. Sorry about that. It's just bad. Now, you know what the funny thing is?
And one more thing, if I might add, that social media contributes to is what's that syndrome when you think you have something and you don't? I guess you could be a hypochondriac.
Yeah.
But there are these communities on like TikTok for like autism awareness and bipolar disorder awareness, and young girls,
all these people
young impressionable preteen, young teenage
self-diagnosing.
girls are watching that and going, "Oh, I too have bipolar." So I think social media also contributes to a lot of mental health
without a doubt.
issues.
There was somebody in the feed the other day saying that there's a large group of people who have self-diagnosed themselves autistic.
100%.
And you can't do that.
I'm glad you never did a test for me for autism, and now I'm too afraid to take one.
No, but you guys don't understand. It's okay to be nervous about stuff. It's okay to be anxious about
That's
stuff.
not what I was just making a joke.
Oh, okay. And
I'm not afraid to go to the doctor.
Look, the where society is today, for me, and I wrote a paper on this. I should just post it. Could be brought back to one exact instance, and from that point forward, it's gone to shit.
When we
Because-
gave women the right to vote?
Because the kids have become soft, they don't know how to deal with adversity, and the parents are helicopter parents. It's when we started giving participation trophies in youth sports.
Oh, it was way before that, but
Dude,
that was definitely a thing.
That you could say from that point forward, because you got a bunch of pansy-ass kids who wanted the reward without the effort, the work, or the sacrifice. I still remember that year when you were 9 years old.
Don't say the same soccer story I was going to say.
No, when we were playing football.
Okay.
And we came in second place.
Mm-hmm. Is that when I fucked my knee up?
No, the first place trophy was like this big, and the second place trophies were like this.
That's fine.
And we went up there, and we got second place, and
I probably threw the trophy away, right?
You were going to give it to me and said, "This is bullshit. They didn't have fucking trophies for second place," and you threw it away. So that was one of the prouder days of my life. But kids don't do that today.
I completely agree with you. Remember in soccer, that one kid who would always build sandcastles? Ezra. In the middle of a game, he'd be on the pitch making dirt mounds. That kid still got a participation trophy at the end of the season. What does that instill in that kid?
Focused.
What does that instill in that child?
Yeah.
You're perfect just the way you are, and you don't need to try.
Right. And how would have Jay been if you weren't leaning on him and calling him names?
Jay?
Yeah.
Gay Jay?
I wouldn't have said that, but you leaned on that kid too. But you know what? He was soft. It's surprisingly, because his dad was a pretty tough dude, so I thought he'd be a little bit different. But that's what it is. So, Angela Reese, yeah. I got these two different guys in my feed. One of them critiques her play.
Uh-huh.
And they show all of her missed three-pointers. I mean, she makes like 10% three-pointers.
She's only good at rebounds.
Half of her rebounds come from her own missed shots.
Yeah.
So the stats are all skewed.
So if you ever bet on women's basketball,
they kill her.
bet her on rebounds.
Well, the second one
Probably kills her
were these
character.
4 guys who are following her, and they're showing their bets, and the bets are whether her first shot's a yes or a no.
Always a no.
And they do that, and I think they've hit 3 in a row.
There are these betting apps where you can do like, oh, so is X player on the Pistons today going to get higher or lower than
Right.
32 points?
Yeah, all of them.
You can do that
all
with
of them like that.
WNBA. So for
course.
Angela Reese, you always go under for the points, but higher for the
Yeah,
rebounds.
maybe so. Maybe so. So that was interesting.
I just don't like her demeanor.
Well, the
I have
point-
nothing against the African American community, but I think she's not a good spokesperson for her sport, or her community.
No, she's not. But
She is
Alec, it's
hot-headed. She's a sore loser, and she's
But
disrespectful.
it's exactly what the society is. Me, me, me. It's about me. Push myself forward. Bad press is still better than no press. It's the wrong type thing. And for her really to think, and this is where it's delusional, and these sportscasters need to check her and others on it. For her to think that in today's female basketball environment, she's as big as Caitlin Clark.
Not even close.
It's not close. She's not even the best on her team.
And she won't even
she's
accept.
really not a top 20 player.
She won't even accept that she's like the villain. If Caitlin Clark is the protagonist, this person, Angel Reese, is the antagonist. But she won't even accept that.
Yeah.
She's
But
going.
that's the problem.
She's going goblin mode.
You got all these young kids that are all goofy. All right, so
You want to talk about goofy young kids? Remember a couple years ago, the Kia Boys?
what?
You don't know who the Kia Boys are? So some Kias that came out in the late 2016s could be hotwired by just sticking a USB into a USB port.
Okay.
And that's how you could start the car. So all these kids are breaking the Kias, underage kids like 16 to 11, take people's Kias for joyrides, crash them into other cars, whip them, drift them, go crazy speeds, crash them, total them, and then just abandon them. And there's nothing that can be done.
Because they don't know who did it.
Right. And they're minors if they ever get caught.
Well, no, because
But that
you
was
can't
a
go
big
past
thing.
18,
Like, this
but
wasn't
you're
a
still going to
couple
jail.
isolated things, Dad. Once it got on TikTok, it was happening
Oh.
all across this one city multiple times a day.
now I'd like to watch a documentary on that. All right, so I think
I'll find you a YouTube
all
documentary
right,
on
so
it.
I think we recapped last week.
Formula One,
Yeah,
my
you want to
bet.
talk about Imola, how it ended, and then the qualifying at
Yes, so I bet that Max
Monaco.
wouldn't make it on the podium or would have been third. He won. But apparently, right before Imola, the FIA put out 2 new rules, one pertaining to drive height and the second pertaining to exotic cooling systems for the tires. So I think the reason why McLaren wasn't as good as they have been last week was because they had to adapt to those rules right before the race.
yeah, but I heard that, but I also heard
And then they had a
Because-
week to
because
fix
of
it.
the base-
So that's why they're good now.
the base raise had to do with it being higher. Everybody's went higher because of Imola's track.
Well,
with the
people-
let me finish, please. With the chicanes, but as you said, McLaren was what 2 and 3, or 2 and 4 today for Monaco. So it looks whatever happened.
McLaren's 1 and 2.
No, Leclerc won.
No, Norris beat him at the end.
Oh, that's right. So they're 1 and
So
3.
he's 1 and 3.
1 and 3. That's right. Yeah, Norris beat him with the fastest
Yeah.
lap. Yeah, that's right.
So the problem with the ride height is people, the skid plates,
Mm-hmm.
why all those sparks happen? People were using semi-malleable metals so that those skid plates would wear off over time, but they would still just be within the acceptable.
Yeah, but didn't
What is this,
George and Lewis and somebody else already get hit this year?
Yeah,
On
so-
the skid plates, the Ferrari. I think it was Lewis, and
And
he
then
kept
they
going over the
optimized
curve,
it.
and he went underneath.
Yeah, so that's the problem. If you go over the curves, this shit wears off faster.
Yeah.
So that's why they were getting hit. So the FIA said, that's a gray area. The shit you're using down there, fix it.
Okay.
So that was it. That, and
All right.
then there was also the
So what do you
exotic
think about
tire
Monaco?
thing.
The Monaco qualifying. We watched. Your boys didn't get out of Q3 again.
I think in the top
Lance Stroll.
I think in the top 5, excluding crashes, in the top 5, there's going to be less than 3 overtakes, 3 or less overtakes the whole race.
I would I would bet money right now. I'll put $20 on it on the FanDuel if you could make the bet.
The top
The
three
podium?
finish the top three?
No, the podium's coming out of top 5. There ain't nobody out of the top 5 coming into the podium.
Yeah. But I don't think there'll be well
Unless
so
there's
here's
some
the
kind of
thing.
red flag or a
You
safety
know what?
car.
Let me
'Cause that's
retract-
the only way.
Let me retract that because they have to do 2 pit stops, so there could be a lot of undercutting and overcutting. So I don't. There could be a lot of overtakes based on that. On track overtakes, top 5, 3 or less, the whole race.
Well, it could be a yellow flag pit stop difference. So we'll see what. So this will come
I
into
mean, on
strategy.
track over.
Yeah, it'll
on
be-
track overtakes. Anything that happens in
No.
the pits doesn't apply to the 3 or less for the top 5.
I bet you $1 there'll be more overtakes that come out of the pit than that come on the track.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet against that.
Yeah, in this course for sure.
Because you were talking about this last week. Monaco is the course where you qualify is most likely of all the other courses where you're going to end up. Except maybe Azerbaijan.
The only reason you don't is if you crash or you have faulty car, like Leclerc did. Was it last year or the year before?
Yeah.
Where he was there and he was winning, and
Yeah.
then the car just crapped on him. And another time, somebody goes into the wall. So
But
no
the-
one's passing you. It's a unforced error, right?
I mean, these cars are just too wide and too good for the track of Monaco. Lando Norris qualifying.
It's too much power.
Lando
man.
Norris qualifying first set the track lap record
Yeah,
earlier today.
yeah. Well,
And the
nobody
only-
else did today. So
The only
he must
reason
have been
they're
going
really
quick.
at Monaco at this point is just the dramatic and ostentatious flair of all the rich people there getting to have that glamorous event.
Okay. All right. Before we start, there was one thing I wanted to talk with you. I meant to do it last week. So you hear all this nonsense about the 100-man versus gorilla deal.
Yeah.
If I think it's 100 average men, 5'8", 5'10", 170 pounds,
They're all dead.
the gorilla gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Now, if you put like 100, 50 Cain Velasquez and then 50 Shaq or something like that, or Brock Lesnar.
How many Andre the Giants you think? I think like 20 Andre the Giants.
Nah. All you got to do is hit Andre like that, he'd fall over.
Yeah, but there's 19 other ones that would just body pile the
Yeah.
gorilla.
I'd rather go with 25 Brock Lesnar's than 20
25 Brock.
Andres.
How many of Brock Lesnar's daughter you think could take on a gorilla?
man,
Because she just set the
she's
shot put
fourth.
record 4 times in
Well,
a row.
no, the championship, not the record.
Oh, she won it 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
She did the sweep.
She's a beast, man.
What's she gonna do after college? You think wrestling?
Well, no, she could go to
The
US
Olympics
track.
for
Yeah.
shot put?
Yeah, well, Olympics are in 2 years. I guarantee you she's training for that.
Yeah, good point. She could
3
probably
years.
start doing the discus too. They could
No.
teach her how to do the
No.
javelin.
She'd already be doing it, man. Plus, if you look at the ladies who do the discus,
She's a big motherfucker. That's
Compa-
Brock Lesnar's kid.
and compared to, you should see Sable, her mom. She's like almost double her mom's size.
Oh wow.
But if you look at the javelin body type, male female,
Mhm.
compared to the discus body type, which is discus is a little bit bigger and thicker.
Is discus upper body and javelin's lower body?
Well, javelin's more of
You
your
need lower
your-
body.
Well, you need strength up in your arms and shoulders,
But it's a motion.
but
you
it's
know?
a motion.
Right.
Where the discus is a motion too, because you're.
But you need to be
No, but-
spinning enough
but
with
you need-
enough weight
hold-
to generate
yeah,
enough
man.
centrifugal force to
You need
send
a
it
longer arm with some muscles, and you get a wingspan. And if you're taller, because it's all about momentum. Shot put, there's a lot of finesse in there, but you got to be a fucking
out. That's those
beast.
corn-fed, like 350-pound
that's what
guys,
she
right?
is, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is the body types aren't the same. Maybe in high school you get away with it or decathlon, but in the pros,
But she would be better than, well, she won't be better than the pros, but she'll be better than everybody else at those events for women.
well, we'll see. She'll have to get in there.
We'll see if she
have to
gets in
see.
the Olympics. That'd
so,
be cool
so
as
the
shit.
point I was trying to make was, everybody thinks the automatically the 100 dudes can win. Look, the gorilla's 10 times stronger, man. They're 900, what, 650 to 850 pounds or 900 pounds.
Yeah, but like they can squeeze, they can hit
No,
you
no,
with like thousands
We're
of
saying
newtons.
the same thing, and I already told you on June. I'm trying to set up this question. So for me, it's the same as a gorilla against 100 men as it would be for you against 100 2 to 5 year olds.
Yeah, I just do this to
Yeah,
each
you
baby's
against
head.
100 toddlers. Now, what number do you think it'll have to be where they could take you? Like
Toddlers?
13-year-olds? 100 13-year-olds would take you.
13-year-olds, I think on a bad day.
On an average, you'll have some big fuckers in there, and then you'll have some like 70-pound guys, but then you'll have some 200-pound guys.
You know, I'm gonna be really modest here and say probably 5 to 10. I could
No, but
I could take
you're not
4
listening to the
teenagers.
question. The question is
5 teenagers would
when
beat
can
me.
you stop taking 100? You can take 102-year-olds.
Oh
You
yeah.
can take 103-year-olds. You can take 104-year-olds.
Yeah.
5, 6, maybe 10.
I don't know. They'll scratch and bite you, man. They'll get your ankles.
Yeah.
If you could teach them a game plan ahead of time, I don't think I'd get past like 6-year-olds.
Well, no, you know what it is though is you
But, like-
probably get tired having to whip 100 asses.
I thought you were gonna ask like, what's the number of 2-year-olds I could take? Like, am
100?
I allowed water breaks? Am I allowed
no,
to?
you could take 100 without.
Do I
having
have to
take a
like
break.
kill them or just like make them stop?
You gotta make them stop.
Okay. Honestly,
And crying and running away is not stopping.
well, they won't come back.
You gotta like knock them out or they gotta run away.
I can't like fear them away. Like, oh,
You
tribal.
didn't listen to me. I said you either gotta knock them out or they gotta run away.
All right, knock them out or run away. Yeah, I could do a spinning head kick on one
You
and
do
like
whatever you
make a
want.
couple run away. I honestly
That's
think.
when you run through the crowd with your arms out like you're running over
Yeah.
wheat.
Well, your arms would be too high for these 2-year-olds.
Yeah, you can't go to your knee though; they'll get you.
You'd
Like
have to-
Gulliver's Travels.
You'd have to do high stepping. I think 2-year-olds.
I could take 100.
If I have one water break, I think I could take 500. Because it's just a matter of when you'll get tired.
Yeah, yeah, but you can't let them catch you because they'll swarm you. They're like fucking.
Yeah, but what are
ants.
they gonna do? This is how hard a 2-year-old hits.
Yeah, but they'll eventually all get on
And
you.
then I'll do like that Hulk smash thing, and like they'll go flying
And
everywhere.
then they'll take you down, and then you get beat up by a bunch of midgets.
They're not. They're,
Now maybe I could
they're-
do.
dude.
So how about the midgets for the midget wrestling? That was last week up in Ashburn.
Oh, those alcoholics! I could probably take 10 of them.
10 professional midget wrestlers.
Yeah. They don't get props though, and they can't hit me in the dick. If they can hit me in the dick, I'd only be able to take like 3 or 4.
Well, you don't want them diving in your knees either.
Yeah, like no cheap shots. Well, it's a street fight, so okay, so like 3 or 4.
Oh, you could take 5.
I kicked the
Most
first
of
one.
those guys are all fucked
I
up
front
anyway.
kicked the first one in the chin and just fuck up his face.
Do a curly Mo and Larry with the rest.
Do like a people's elbow on one of
Yeah.
them. Trip the other ones.
That'd be interesting. All right, what do we got? What's cooking? Who's got Trump derangement syndrome this week?
Who has Trump derangement syndrome this week? Are people still complaining about the plane?
I didn't hear much about that. I think that's old news.
I don't know anybody in particular.
No, I don't know anybody bitching yet. South African president, maybe.
He's not bitching. He got blindsided. That was
But you know what?
funny.
He actually I'll give
He
him
said he
credit.
was going to look into it.
No, but well, he's the one giving the speech saying we're going to take the land without compensation.
And that song they
He
sing,
said that.
that song they sing down there is a
No, I
song
know
that
that.
incites violence.
But he did say that, so he can look into it all he wants. But he was the one who said it. So,
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens there. That's interesting, and all the wackiness there.
There's this
People
city,
are getting arrested. Oh, they put the tapes out with that judge. Was it Wisconsin or in the Northeast?
the one that was holding migrants in her house, illegals.
No, that was another guy who had one in his house. This is the one who pulled the ICE agents away. So they showed video of her walking out with another judge to talk to the 2 ICE agents that were sitting there waiting to get the guy who had just walked in with his lawyer into her courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, no, she was arguing about jurisdiction or something like that. I said, you need to go talk to the head judge. So she sends them down to the head judge, goes back down the hallway, and pulls out 1 or 2 other ICE guys that are standing there. They all go that way. As soon as they cross and go in there,
He sends them out.
the dude and her lawyer are sent out the door they came in from her chambers.
Mm-hmm.
However, 1 ICE guy was still in the hallway, and he picked them up and followed them. And then the dude got out of the courtroom and started running, and they caught him. That judge,
Should be arrested.
she's fucked.
Good.
She's
she
fucked.
should be fucked.
And you know what? I'd go after that second judge who was up there too.
I don't understand the whole argument behind protecting these people. I mean, if you look at New
simple.
York,
It's simple.
Brooklyn, for example, that borough, they're housed in the nicest hotels, and these hotels don't even allow cops in without a warrant.
Yeah. So did you hear what Gavin Newsom did this week?
No,
So
any week I hear nothing about him is a good week.
So Social Security Administration said was it 1.5 million illegal immigrants with Social Security numbers getting benefits,
How?
Medicaid benefits?
How?
'Cause Biden, they're not supposed to, but Biden did that. They took it all away.
Good, so now they
So-
have no money.
So now, because what they were doing is they pay into, like, let's say California state Medicaid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And California's using that, and that's what the money was.
Mm-hmm.
They shut it off. California said, "Sorry guys, no more for you. We can't pay for it in the state." So they're getting the desired effect. But you said, how can these guys do this? It's real simple.
Fake a name?
It's TDS, man. In their mind, anything that Trump does that they disagree with is because he's evil, and whatever they need to do to not have to comply, in their mind, they're cool. Like,
But-
she probably didn't even think anything of it.
I'm
Just
not
like
even-
James Comey last week didn't think anything of 8646.
Oh yeah, for
Because they're
for
so
sure.
removed from reality,
But-
they think this shit's okay now.
You're talking about the judge. I'm talking about how did they get granted Medicare and Medicaid?
The government gave it to them.
How? That's
They
super
did.
illegal. That shouldn't even under
No, it shouldn't have happened.
even under Biden.
But that's why they stopped
that's
it.
unconstitutional.
Well, I don't know if it's unconstitutional. It's not. It shouldn't be, because that's who the law says the benefits are defined for. So
Every other country has borders for a reason. I don't know why borders are so hotly debated here as a controversial topic.
yeah, I still think, these guys all say the same thing. I think it's criminal that you let in 12.5 million people that you don't know who they are, what they do, what their background is.
It's destroying a country from within.
And probably 11.5 million of them coming in illegally. Oh no, the 12.5 were illegal. I mean, that's just wrong.
And then all the kids that were raped by the cartels on that process,
Unforgivable.
having to go through that Darien Gap to get up to Mexico is one of the most dangerous places you could travel on
Yep.
foot. And a lot of people's lives were lost there.
Yep.
All
That's what
because
happened.
Joe Biden left the back door into the country.
Well, I guess he's got an excuse now. He's won altogether there.
I've been seeing stuff about Hillary. Did anything come out that Trump has,
Yeah.
like, new info on Hillary?
Trump did what's his True Social
True
post?
Social?
Or the White House, he ran a commercial or something on True Social listing all the people that have been Clintoned.
He did that? That's so funny. You
there's
got to
like-
give it to him.
There's like a dozen of them.
You got to give it to him. He's a funny
He
man.
listed them all and he ended it with a question about how's this, a coincidence.
So is he just ripping her, or is he actually going to investigate?
Somebody's looking into that shit. I can guarantee you that.
Sure?
Oh,
you
yeah.
think he's got someone looking into
Look,
Barack,
man,
too?
I can guarantee you someone, for example, how does AOC go from not having any wealth 4 years later on a salary of 175 grand, I think, now has $26 million wealth. So people must be paying for speaking engagements and stuff, or money's being funneled in through other organizations for a $50,000 speaking engagement.
And she has that tax the rich merchandise. Kevin O'Leary was calling her a genius because it's like a $40 shirt and it costs like $4 to make.
Yeah, but she
Like,
can't
the
have
margins
sold that much. We'll make those
Dad,
ourselves.
46% of this country is liberal.
Yeah.
Not Democrat, liberal.
Well,
Well, 46 is Democrat.
they're Democrat. They're not all
Of
liberal.
that 40%, there's millions of crazy liberals with
Oh, without
you-
a doubt.
more often than not, they're not their original
Disposable
hair
income.
color.
Yeah,
They're the ones that buy tax the rich
yeah.
merchandise.
Well, we talked about that before. A no-go.
And that's another funny thing we can
hair
talk
colors,
about.
Hair colors a no-go. Face and hand tattoos, no-go.
Yeah.
More than like 2 earrings on each ear, no-go.
But another
Tongue ring, no
okay,
go.
I got it. We've discussed this
Nose
already.
ring.
What I wanted to talk about before you
Eyebrow
went on
ring.
that diatribe was that there's a big issue with not so much my age, but maybe like early 20s and teens spending all their money on clothes and shoes and shit,
Yeah, it's
and
been
not
going on for decades.
investing it or trying to get a car or
As soon as rock and roll came out and you could buy albums, everybody
many
started
albums
wasting
did-
money on that.
how many albums did you have
Over my whole life, or the most I had at one time?
over your whole life?
I don't know, 300-400.
That's pretty good. How much were they back then?
I never bought an album over $10. I think like a double album, like Hotel California
Right,
or
so
something like
like
that, was
$10.
like $12.99 at the
Okay.
time. But you also got to remember that's when album covers meant something, man.
Mm.
Because they were pieces of art. Like
Yeah.
if you look at Hendrix stuff or anybody else, or they all tried
right.
to up each other with their covers.
No one wants to hear us talk about albums. So it's not an interesting podcast.
Yeah, but that's good music. All right. We already talked about who we think.
Dead air. Dead air.
Scotty won the PGA last week. We got to wait for the U.S. Open, which is in 2 weeks, because that's always Father's Day weekend.
You have written on the board cool info.
Oh, that's just the case stuff we came across.
Do you have any cool info?
I did, but I left my notes upstairs, so I don't
You-
remember
you
what
left
it
your
is.
cool info notes upstairs. Do you know?
It's mainly history and then inventions.
So there's this trend in the video game industry where you know how games used to be $60,
Yeah.
like $59.99. Now there's Microsoft and Nintendo are going for $80 price game.
Ooh, $79.99.
Yeah, and the CEO of the company that makes the Borderlands games that I like so
Yeah.
much, someone asked him, said, "Randy, don't make your game $80. Don't, it's not gonna work." And he replied, "This, mind you, he's the CEO of the company." He replied with, "A, not my call, and B, when I was a kid making minimum wage in 1971, my store had a copy of Lightstar, and I paid $80 for that. I made it work." Implying if you don't pay $80 for this game, you're not a true fan.
Right.
So you know Steam's where you
Yeah.
get computer games from, and then you can review games on there. People went and review bombed every single one of his games on Steam after he said that. So he's never been one to not cause a controversy, but as the CEO, you sure as shit have a say in what your game's going to be priced at. 100%.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he's saying that. But
Maybe
it's a
he should
bigger
say
trend.
that- He should say the price is under development, and I'll have it for review in a
But
couple
it's a
weeks.
bigger trend in the gaming industry too. And he actually said something else. He was like, with these tariffs, we might have to raise the prices of our packaging materials.
Yeah, well, I thought you buy all that shit online and
No.
download it.
That 90% of people do.
Okay.
But that's my little rant.
All right. We were going to talk about a book chapter, but what were we going to say? Oh, fellowship. You want to talk about today?
Sure.
Go ahead.
So Dan, my buddy, he's been on the podcast, invited us to do this group workout that made us both realize pretty quickly
Oh,
we were out of
fucking
shape. Because we would do jog back and forth, and then
What was
the
that,
other
like
half.
25 yards up? No, that was more than 25 yards. That might have been 50 yards.
Yeah, so 50 yards down and back, and while the other half of your team is doing
Would we start
100 burpees.
Yeah.
How many burpees did you do? Because I think I
I
didn't do
did
more
about
than
25.
I didn't do more than 25 burpees.
Yeah. And then the team had to do 200 sit-ups.
200 sit-ups and then 300
Dude, I
body
got about
weight.
15 of those because I think I was going uphill. But look, I told you this with the burpee and with the sit-up and then with the other one,
The body squat.
with the body squat, I was doing full range of motion.
Me too. And then
And the teammates were about
I was looking over, and one guy on our team I saw running back, they were doing crunches like this. They were barely doing burpees, and when they were doing squats, they came down like 4 inches.
yeah. All I know is
Like
I
riding a
did
dick.
I did that run at least 12 times. So
And then we did an Indian run, which is a group of people run. The person at the end has to run to the front,
They were
But
going
these
too
guys
quick.
are running way too fucking fast. The whole point of an Indian run.
But it's
is-
the end of the exercise.
Yeah.
It's just to get. You're only
First
supposed
of
to
all,
go
it's
fast.
a cool down.
Yeah, you're only supposed to go fast on a sprint. It's
Yeah.
a cool down, so it's like
Yeah,
a
you
little quicker than a march.
Right, you sprint to the front and then you
Right.
slow jog.
Yeah,
Or power walk.
and you're supposed to
You
be able
don't
to,
keep jogging.
but you're supposed to be able to sprint from back to front in like less than 10 seconds. Fuck, I had to go like a third of the field.
I was behind you. It took me like 30 seconds.
I had to wait for the guy in front of me.
It's ridiculous.
And then he cuts the corner, and everybody like runs into each other.
And
I'm
I
like,
was just like, I'm done.
But it was fun. I enjoyed it.
yeah.
Now
And
that we
so
know
it
what
was a
to
30
expect,
It was a 30-minute workout and then
Busted
30
my
minutes
ass.
of 30 minutes of fellowship and talking about Christ.
yeah,
It was pretty cool.
I enjoyed it. So the thing is, community, just community,
I thought you said like faith,
community, fellowship.
fellowship,
Yeah, but you get fellowship through community.
service, all that,
Yeah.
all those good buzzwords.
And health hack is mix it up. Whatever you do, you know, your intermittent fasting, your exercise, you know, do your resistance training, but also get in some cardio. Get some zone 2, which is walking. Do some hit stuff.
Yeah.
You know, do
Mix
some
up your
sprint, do
exercises.
some sprints and burpees. Fuck that. I'm not
I'm not
doing a Spartan
I'm
race.
not doing-
I can't do 100 burpees
Dude,
at one time.
I'm not doing one more burpee unless I end up in prison. I'm not doing any burpees in the free world. That's not happening again.
And I told you
Those
I
suck.
did a dead sprint after the last run, which I thought was the last run,
It wasn't.
but I still had at least 10 more after that. and I pulled my hammy and my glute, which
I
is now
thought-
my calf.
I
My whole
thought when
leg
they
is
were
killing me.
explaining it, it goes until the person in the front gets to the end, and then he runs back up front, and then it's done.
Yeah.
They did that cycle 3 times,
Yeah.
I think. It's ridiculous.
Now I thought when we were doing the 100, the 200, and the 300 exercises
Mhm.
that you did 10, I did 5, Joe did 15, we added together is 25.
Nope.
It's like whichever one of you losers does the most. So I was fortunate. I was with Dan and that guy.
And the guy that
what
was
his name?
cheating.
Sprint, and he was quick. He was getting. No, he wasn't cheating.
Well, he's doing crunches and shit.
He did them right. And listen, he did 100 crunches.
He did like 60% of our shit
No,
for us.
he did the 100 crunches because we took his number every time.
Yeah,
So,
and I would
so
take the other one.
I did 15 full sit-ups. He did 100 of those.
Yeah.
Same amount.
And
for
I was
sure.
wondering
He did
why
more.
I was wondering why you guys were doubling us, because we would hit a number, we'd be like, all right, we're at 15, and then we run down and
You
back.
come back, it's like
and
62.
he's like, all right, we're at 65. And we're like, how the fuck did you get 50?
Yeah, we went one time and we came back, and you guys did like 6 sit-ups. 6.
I don't give a shit. I don't care.
And then you did like 12 squats.
But then we still had to
And
finish
then you
out the
come
rest
back
of the
and we
teams.
did like 50 or 60.
And you know what, Dad? We were the second of the 5
we
teams
still
to
won.
finish.
We weren't the first?
No, we were the second.
Oh, I thought
And
we
then
were
we had to
first.
fall in with all the other teams.
Oh, I just
and
kept
keep...
running.
Yeah, I know. I saw you. I was wondering. Every time you came back, I'm like, are you going to do a
I'm like, I'll run for
He
you.
turns around. Is he going to do a squat? Nope. He just goes back to running. Just boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, well, I ran an extra 10 laps because I'd rather do that than the
Yeah.
fucking burpees or squats.
You did it in sweats too, so
Yeah.
that's a little respectable as well. And then you started being all, you became a philosophizer there at the end.
Yeah.
Mr. Podcast Man became
Well,
the
it was just a
philosophizer.
question. I mean, the guy asked, he had a hard time forgiving.
Forgiving himself
Yeah.
for something he's been forgiven for.
Right. And the only point I made is, men are
Well,
find
Christ
it-
forgave you. Why
Yeah, well,
won't you forgive yourself?
That was the point, that you got to understand as a Christian that if you accept the forgiveness of Christ and He forgives you, and you got to be able to forgive yourself. So it's kind of
But Christ doesn't know how I feel. It's different. No, it's not.
no. You just gotta do it. And the thing I
Ask
said.
for forgiveness through
as the
Christ,
phi-
and then you forgive yourself.
What is White Goodman say? Not philosophizer, but
Nobody makes me bleed my own
no,
blood.
he says something. He can't say philosophizer. He says something else. But the only thing I said is that as you get older, men will find the hardest thing they do in life is forgive themselves. So figure that out, and then you'll be successful. All right, so we're gonna do it at top 5. What we'll do first one is Monday's Memorial Day, so we want to thank all the men and women who have have served
Truly,
and
thank
have
them, man.
sacrificed for this country from going back, I guess, from the beginning.
We
of the
love the
1600s.
troops. I don't necessarily like all police, but we love the troops
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
we'll go from that. So with that, we will do a Memorial Day homage. So your top 5 Memorial Day barbecue grill type food.
It's funny we did this whole thing about the troops, and
Yeah.
then we go into the
So
Memorial
I'm gonna
Days
say
about
baked beans.
grilling.
I'm gonna say baked beans.
All right, that's number 4. Do your whole list. Then.
So I got baked beans. I got potato salad. You got to have a hot dog in there. I'm not a big brat guy. And you got to have cheeseburger, number 1. And then is cheeseburger's number 1. So I only did 4. I got to find out where to squeeze it in, but a nice grilled corn on the cob.
Yeah.
Grill it in the husk or grill it outside the husk. So
Yeah.
so we got baked beans. So top 5 Memorial Day foods for me: baked beans, potato salad, hot dogs, grilled corn on the cob, cheeseburger.
And then my top 5 would be corn on the cob, hot dog, mac and cheese, a good potato salad, but it has to be a good potato salad, and a good medium rare cheeseburger
You like
with onions and
you like
relish.
macaroni salad better than potato salad?
No, I like mac and cheese.
No, but I mean, do you
I
like
don't like
macaroni
macaroni salad.
I hate macaroni salad. You like coleslaw?
I'll eat coleslaw with wings, but it's got to be like Korean coleslaw.
Yeah.
I like the Korean coleslaw.
The Korean stuff is good.
I like
it comes with,
I like
it comes with
kimchi.
banchan.
That's what Bonchong's wing come with.
Yeah.
Well, I like kimchi too. I love
Oh no,
kimchi.
kimchi's good. I love.
I really like
sauerkraut.
umami flavors, you know.
Oh, yeah, but I'd rather have a good sauerkraut hot dog, like
Yeah.
at Camden Yards.
Or sauerkraut on a corned beef
with
sandwich.
an SK hot dog with a little bit of golden mustard on there. and
Thousand
some
Island sauerkraut and corned beef.
Thousand Island
Yeah.
on a hot dog.
No, I'm talking about a corned beef sandwich
Oh
with
yeah,
sauerkraut.
yeah.
I actually did. I got a Sheetz hot dog with sauerkraut and Thousand Islands on it. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it probably is.
Surprisingly.
All right.
Or maybe I'm just a freak for condiments.
All right,
But
and
I
what's
don't
the
like
best-
mayo.
What's the best dessert
I hate
Memorial Day?
mayo.
Oh, gotta be apple pie.
The best Memorial Day dessert,
Just like any dessert in the summer picnic, it's apple pie.
I don't like apple pie.
Ain't nothing better than apple pie.
I'll just go generic with vanilla ice
Is
cream.
it watermelon or a Waldorf salad?
Depends. I'll
or
just
fruit-
go ice
good
cream.
fruit salad.
Yummy, yummy.
Yummy,
You like
yummy
fruit
in my
salad?
tummy.
Yeah, you want me to toss your salad?
Was it beef stew?
Want me to toss your fruit salad?
If you eat my beef stew. All right, next one. You could go first, or do you want? Let's go 5-5. Work our way up.
Okay.
Or do you want to go? Yeah, we'll do that. Your top 5 Star Wars characters.
Number 5, I will go with Boba Fett.
Okay. Oh, my turn. Oh, goodness gracious. Shit, I don't know. Top 5. In 5th place, I will put C-3PO.
My number 4 is Darth Vader.
Okay. Well, I know who my number 3 is. I'll have to put General Akbar number 4.
My number 3 is Yoda.
Oh man, I forgot Yoda. I'm gonna have to go with Lando Calrissian at number
Okay.
3.
My number 2 is General Grievous. I just like the
Okay.
lightsabers.
My number 2 is Han Solo.
Okay. And then my number 1 would be Mace Windu.
Okay.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay. My number 1 is Chewie.
Chewbacca. Okay.
Chewbacca.
Yeah, nothing wrong with them. Good
I like
picks.
Chewie.
We didn't pick Anakin.
Nah.
Nothing
he's
from
a bitch.
Well,
We didn't
Kylo
pick
Ren.
Skywalker, and we didn't pick. I almost picked
Who that Daisy
Princess
Ridley?
Leia.
That Daisy Ridley chick.
But
who
I
was
like
she?
General Akbar, that big. He's the admiral or the Admiral Akbar.
It's a
right?
trap.
Yeah, it's a trap. It's a trap. That's one of the big little meme scenes that comes from that.
Yeah.
All right, so what's your book of the week? I got a big book of the week because
I
you
don't
guys
have a
don't
book.
get this anymore. When we were in middle school, so in the 70s and 80s,
Oh, I know my book.
and we had to do book reports. or we had to do our history papers. Whether it was at the library, and my mom actually bought us a set. Some fucking traveling salesman sold it to her, and I was quite impressed about how much he charged for them. But
Yeah, a lot.
we had our own set in middle school and high school of Encyclopedia Britannica. They give you the whole series and anything and everything. It's like Wikipedia, but 100 times
Before the
better
internet.
because it's not bullshit. Because Wikipedia is bullshit.
Well, it's like self-governed.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's still bullshit. But Encyclopedia Britannica is mine.
And on that cue, I will go with Encyclopedia Brown.
I liked him better than the Hardy Boys.
It was a good kids book.
And he was better than Goosebumps too, right?
I never read a single Goosebumps book.
Yeah.
Or-
I bought him for you, or your sister read him.
This'll piss people off. I've never seen a full episode of SpongeBob.
Either have I.
People love SpongeBob. It's
Mm.
not my thing.
No. Plus, your mom wouldn't let you watch that.
Yeah, because it
It's
was
a stupid show.
too unholy. But then you take me to see Step Brothers when I'm 13.
What's wrong with that? That's good, wholesome family entertainment.
Sure.
Good, wholesome family entertainment. All right. What your book was? What?
Encyclopedia Brown.
Oh, that's right. You just said that. Okay. TV, movies. I'm gonna go with film I saw in the summer of '84. I stayed the summer with my grandparents in San Francisco, and my grandpa took me to the movie theater, and I went to see Indiana Jones.
Which one?
First one.
Raiders of the Lost
Raiders
Ark?
of the Lost Ark. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, that's the name of the movie. I like that movie.
Their video game that came.
I like the third one too. The second one and the fourth one are dog shit.
I
but-
highly recommend the new Indiana Jones video game.
Okay.
But I've talked about it before.
Is it like Pitfall?
No.
You ever watch? You ever play Pitfall on Activision?
Way too young.
Well,
I've never heard. No.
it's a guy like Indiana Jones going through a jungle, jumping over
Yeah,
pits.
but it's a 2D side scroller.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, no. That's like Temple Run. Did you ever play Temple Run on
No.
your phone?
Oh, I saw something I can buy for like $60, and it's like a old
call it a backbone.
Nintendo controller,
They call it a backbone.
and it has like 300 games, and I just put a
Your phone
zip
in it?
drive into my smart TV, and it'll pull up all the games on my TV.
Oh, well, all those games are.
But it's the shit that I
emulator
like.
ROMs.
Tecmo
Yeah.
Bowl, you know.
There's a legal gray
Dig
area
Dug.
with that. That's not fully legal, but you can get it. No one's gonna come after you for
They're
it.
selling it at the Walmart.
Yeah, but they have licensed games on there, but they're not licensed
Oh,
because
okay.
Nintendo won't license their
Well, I'll
games
still
to
play
anybody.
it. Galaga, Galaxian,
Uh,
even Pac-Man. I'd rather play Asteroids.
I'm gonna
Defender.
do a cop out here and just say South Park is my series of the week.
Okay.
Just the
Which
best.
which episode?
Just all of it.
What's your best episode recently?
My favorite recent South Park episode was Mexican Joker.
I haven't seen that
With
one.
Cartman figures out he can just get somebody deported if he calls ICE or
Yeah.
get someone sent to a detention center. So he gets Kyle sent to a detention center. And then the people running the detention center find out he's Jewish and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. We'll have you out as soon as possible. And Kyle says, you not know what's going on here? And he's saying this story that alludes to, like, you could be creating the circumstances for what will eventually become like the Mexican Joker. And then the people running the detention center are like, Mexican Joker. And then they start thinking one of the kids is a Mexican Joker. And this is all happening while Randy Marsh had that weed farm. No one's buying his weed anymore because everybody started growing their own.
Uh-huh.
So he blew up everybody's weed farm. And then it got blamed on the Mexican Joker. That's how it ends.
Ah, there you go. All right, I'll have to watch that. All right, so we're down to the bitch of the week. Who did we say?
My bitch of the week is that African American dude who was a reporter on CNN talking in favor of South Africa and their politics and basically siding with the genocide that's going on. So that just because it's not what Trump is saying. So if you have to stoop to that level,
Well, my problem is
I don't know why CNN's still around.
well, my problem is with those guys is that they don't do that research.
No.
They come from such a deliberate angle.
It's all emotional.
Well, it's not only emotional. You know exactly what angle they're coming from, what they're going to do, what they're going to say, how they're going to react, what they're going to deny.
Yep.
Mr. Spock would be rolling around in his grave. Well, Leonard Nimoy's in a grave. Mr. Spock's
Metaphorical
never
grave.
died, but it's illogical, Jim. Jim, it's illogical. Oh, that's Scotty saying that, but Spock would go, Jim, that's illogical.
Or another way of
their
putting
behavior and how they act and what
It's-
they defend, it just doesn't make any sense.
it's a
So,
continuous amount of logical fallacies.
Yeah. Mr. Spock is definitely a Republican. That I know.
I think Mr. Spock transcended politics.
No,
if Mr. Spock
he's
was
not a
anything,
Democrat.
I think he's a libertarian. I don't think
No.
Mr. Spock believes in
no,
governance.
he follows rules.
I believe Spock believes in
The
self-governance.
Kobayashi Maru, when Captain Kirk cheated in the Academy, he did it against Spock, and he reprogrammed it so he would win. And Spock got all angry about him changing to Kobayashi Maru because
Hey,
you
man.
can't break the law.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Mr. Spock was a Republican.
Okay. No comment.
Now,
Who's your-
Captain Kirk could have been a libertarian. I got no problem with that.
Who's your bitch of the week?
Oh, mine is Jake Tapper from CNN as well, who
Awesome.
now wrote his expose book on how everybody knew Biden was losing his mind and everything else. Of course, even in his book, they didn't put in there he had cancer and he had all that too. So it sounds as if he's just regurgitating stories. But,
So hold on.
But hold on a second. But the interesting part is he's trying to
Trying to
get
make a
credit
joke and you won't let
to
me.
be a great reporter breaking the story, which he has played the opposite side for the last 4 years.
He was covering it up
given
until
every-
a couple.
yeah.
He
So,
was probably writing the book
hypocritic.
while covering it up.
No, I think he started writing the book after Trump won and figured we got to expose Joe Biden and sell his ass out.
So he wrote that book in less than a year.
Oh, I think that book was written in
So
the
this
last
is just-
12 months.
This is just a money grab.
Oh, without doubt
This
it
is a
is.
money grab.
Sure.
I hate
Oh.
those people.
I'm going to go on the record right now,
Moralist
just so
people.
everybody knows. I told him the other day, I had the good fortune or the bad fortune of living through the two worst presidents in the United States of America. Thank God they were both one term. Ironically, they're both older white men in the Democratic Party. Jimmy Carter has been considered the worst president for a very long time.
Up until about 2 years ago.
And Biden is without a doubt, especially with all the cognitive issues that have come up in the last couple of weeks, and then now the health issues.
Yep.
Not to mention, he earned it before he left, but those two things have cemented him. Joe Biden is absolutely the worst president the United States has ever had.
Joe, it's time to go back to the pool to find corn pop, get a couple ice cream cones, start licking those instead of the children. Sniff some flowers instead of the children.
You know,
Enjoy your retirement.
The sad part is if he
We
does,
wish you well with your prostate cancer.
if he really does have metastatic bone cancer now from the prostate, and
He's going to be gone in 3 months.
I don't think he makes 6 to 12 months.
No, it's 6 months.
Which is very sad.
Eh. How old is he? He's 85? That's what people...
No, I don't think he's that old. No, he's at the right age.
It's time to die.
I mean, I think the American age for men is 78.
Plus,
Do you know we got a negative birth rate? We should talk about that one day. And the other thing is...
it's probably because no one wants to be banging these thoughts and, having
as
marriages
it
with the
relate,
thoughts.
well, that's probably true because people are getting married later and having kids later and not having it all. But the other part is that our average life expectancy went down for the first time in well over 100 years due to COVID, of course. But we went the wrong way, so it's turning back the other way. So we got a lot of problems. So we'll. We should talk about it next week.
The low-income whites will repopulate us.
Yeah, we'll see.
Those don't know
No,
any
but
contraception.
that's that movie, Buttfuckers. What was that?
It's idiocracy.
Idiocracy.
We're living in idiocracy.
Exactly. It's happening.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of it.
No, it's beginning was like 8 years ago.
Okay, yeah, but that
We're in
that's
its
gotta
infancy.
but yeah, it's got to take about 100 years for that to happen.
100, 200 years.
Start
yeah.
putting Gatorade on the crops.
Yeah. Brando.
Brondo. Terry Crews was the
And
president.
then all the secretaries had the big like Scientology plates.
No, it was like the guy from Public Enemy. Not Chuck D, but Flavor Flav.
Oh yeah. But those were clocks.
Yeah, well, the same kind of thing. All right, so that's all we got. Again, episode 23, 24th of May, we're finished, and tomorrow's the Monaco Grand Prix.
We shall see what happens.
We shall see. I got Lando. I think it's going to go Lando, Verstappen, Leclerc. I think Piastri's got to slip to 4.
Lance Stroll, number 1. Calling it.
All right. See you guys. Thanks.
Disclaimer for Generations Unplugged with Big Kel and Kahuna. This is a podcast created for informational and entertainment purposes only. The views expressed in this podcast reflect the personal experiences and opinions of the hosts and guests. Topics like health, fitness, financial well-being, and personal development are discussed based on individual perspectives and are not intended as professional medical, financial, or psychological advice. Listeners are encouraged to consult with qualified professionals before making decisions related to health, lifestyle, or finances. Each person's journey is unique, and results may vary. The creators of Generations Unplugged disclaim any liability for actions taken based on the content of this podcast. Remember, informed decisions and expert guidance are key to building a fulfilling and balanced life.